The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content that isn't appropriate for some. Listener discretion is advised. Recorded live from the GOT Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. This is All About Nothing podcast with Trent Clark, Zach King, and my dad, Barrett Gruber.
All right, welcome everybody to the All About Nothing podcast. Barrett Gruber, Trent Clark, Zach King. We are joined this week by a special guest, and I was trying to keep it a secret, but the guys kept asking. He's
like, they're coming.
I guessed it.
It was more than one person. I was like, okay.
So it was going to be more than one person. We were going to have somebody phone in in the second half, but she's unavailable. She had a bad day.
Did Zach guess it right though? Did he know?
Zach guessed so many names, there was no way he wasn't eventually going to come around to it. That's the honest truth. Welcome, Matt. Thank you for being here. Matt Vilardebo, of course.
What's up, y'all? Good to be here.
Nominee for the District 26 out of Fort Mill. So that was unsuccessful for us, but better.
Ask me about losing.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me how does it really feel?
Yeah, honestly, that's one of those things. Like I was going to attempt to join because I was running one of the elections out here in Lexington, and after we got done, Judd Larkins invited me to somebody else's after party or whatever, and I didn't go because it was I was exhausted. That was easily one of the worst elections I've ever worked, and I've told the stories about it. The number of people,
it drove you to quit.
It drove me to run.
Yeah.
That's right. All the same.
That's true. This is not enough. I need to fix it.
Yeah. It's and I'm it's a work in progress. I think I've done something like 17 different training videos on how to be a good candidate and all this other stuff. And Matt can tell you.
Do you want to give them those websites that you go for so people can know?
I don't have anybody I dislike that much.
How to lose friends and alienate
people.
And
I say that. Daniel Duncan's the one that actually gave me most of the links to the videos to go watch. So now I'm thinking Daniel doesn't like me that much.
Wow.
No, Daniel.
Inside job.
Daniel loves me.
Barrett, you're going to need this.
I did want to do, let me do the regular business. Let's see. What was I going to say? Please subscribe to the show. Subscriptions drive our searches. That's how we get our new listeners. Also, please subscribe. Also, consider becoming a financial supporter by becoming a patron by visiting theallaboutnothing.com. There's a link at the top of the page. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and you think we're worth it, go ahead and give us one of those 5-star reviews. If you're not on an Apple Podcast, you can give us one of those thumbs ups or however. Just share it. Just share the show.
Cue Arms of an Angel or whatever for just one like a month. You can help us reach more people.
That's the best I can do. I can give you a timpani roll
for the cost of a single cup of coffee at Starbucks.
It'll be like the SNL.
The All About Nothing
Ask
podcast
for more
on the air for 3 more months.
We'll just keep funding it.
Thank you, Sarah McLaughlin.
Oh, you have right here. DJ Lonzo, book me.
I did have a few shout outs. Want to thank Bill Kimmler for calling in last week and shaming Zach. That was
He
fun.
said, "Fly, Eagles, fly." We're gonna really see if they can fly Sunday.
Right. Philly Bill, I cannot wait for that chef's victory.
The chefs.
The chef.
I gotta
Die,
be honest.
Eagles, die.
Is this the Chiefs end of the table?
100%.
I guess so. I mean,
Chiefs.
Yeah.
No way am I rooting for the Eagles.
I gotta root for the Eagles, man.
I'm pulling for the Eagles.
Gotta go for Jalen Hurts, man.
Having me root for the Cowboys. It's just not.
That would hurt.
Yes.
I will admit that would
make my
hurt.
soul leave my body.
But you gotta root for the Cowboys.
No.
They're the underdogs always.
No.
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
you don't gotta
Every year.
root for the Cowboys.
Got to.
America's team.
Yeah, I do get tired of hearing that. Also, shout out to Bex, who's listening to a show from northeastern Scotland, northeastern end of Scotland. So
nice.
Way out there.
Hello, Bex.
Also,
Hello, Bex.
Prasad, he's listening to us in Mumbai, India. Jen Atchley, she reached out, said that last week's episode was fantastic, and she hopes that we'll invite her on soon.
Thank you, Jen.
Also,
Don't expect too much.
I did want to mention, and because there's an important part at the end of this, the death toll in Turkey and Syria has risen to more than 11,000. That was reported this morning as a result of an enormous 7.8 magnitude earthquake and hundreds of aftershocks, including one that measured 7.5. This, coupled with an ongoing civil war in Syria, is just a terrible situation. If you have the ability and you can, I will put links in the show notes, but there are a bunch of different groups you can give to. Syrian American Medical Society, UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, because this is going to create a huge refugee crisis. UNICEF, the White Helmets. It's a nonprofit organization made up of about 3,000 volunteers who help Syrian communities. They said they need more equipment and supplies to continue numerous search and rescue operations. The Turkish Red Crescent has more than 240 staff members that are already out in the fields and attempting to help people. The International Rescue Committee, an organization that responds to the most serious humanitarian crises, they work in more than 40 countries, and right now they're focused on Syria and Turkey. Project Home, Global Giving, Save the Children, Humanitarian Relief Foundation, many, many more. You can just Google that to find links to how to help out there. Also, and this is going to be slightly a monologue that you all are just going to have to endure.
Oh, God damn.
Look, here's the thing. It is Black History Month, and by the time you're hearing this podcast or you're watching us, we're in the middle of February almost, and February is recognized as Black History Month.
And it's the shortest month.
Yeah. Why? Because, in my opinion, that's the least that can be done. And to acknowledge the significant contributions that have been made in the United States and across the world by individuals that are Black and have made the advancement of civilization. Sadly, I say this is the least that can be done. It's not the least. Many people that we live and work around, I know we all know them, would probably deny that any period of time is necessary. Why isn't there a White History Month? And my response is basically because fuck you. And that's the only one.
It's called all the other months.
Yeah.
History books.
From
July.
Yeah, exactly. From civil.
Hey, you know what white history classes are in college, right? That's the history of Western civilization.
Marjorie Taylor Greene got a doctorate in it.
Oh my God.
From civil rights to science to literature to politics to medicine to war heroes, entertainment and music, fighter pilots, doctors, nurses, philanthropists, local leaders, and many, many more. All of which would likely go unrecognized if it weren't for the fact that there were at least the month of February and absolutely necessary recognition of all of the contributions that have been made by Blacks. Why isn't there a White History Month to celebrate their significant contributions? Because even in February, there are days that are devoted to individuals and groups that are white. President's Day, St. Valentine's Day, there are two white ones. There you go. Congratulations.
What is Valentine's Day?
Green card holiday.
Yeah. Do you want to know what actually Valentine's Day is?
Yeah, give me the real meaning.
It's a celebration of a priest that just happened to continue to marry Romans so that the Roman soldiers wouldn't have to join the Roman army. When the Roman Empire figured out what was going on, they took and hung him. They crucified him upside down.
And he should have some miracles on his record, right? That's a
yeah, two miracles. That's the prerequisite.
And Mother Teresa did none. So, but I don't.
I was having a conversation about that this morning.
Like
the ridiculousn's of how quickly Mother Teresa got canonized when there wasn't any miracles to attribute to. Anyway,
she was a bad person.
There's some things that have been said about it.
I have a friend actually who runs a charity called. I cannot remember what it is, but it's out of India, and they're like a secular charity that actually tries to undo what Mother Teresa did over there.
The shit she did to Indians was just absurd.
Yeah. Well, I don't know all of the history, and because I am Catholic and non-practicing, of course, but
you'll instantly turn to flames if you badmouth Mother Teresa.
You know what? There are
6 Hail Marys.
There are so many things that I've likely done that should get me, electrocuted.
Not enough Our Fathers in the.
First of all, Black History Month shouldn't just be a month. Black history should be recognized all year round.
Sure.
In the United States and recognized by all the states, there should be a day devoted to Rosa Parks, a day for Maya Angelou, Frederick Douglass, Ela Baker, Harriet Tubman, Alvin Alley, Booker T. Washington, Jane Collin, Jesse Owens, John Lewis, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Jackie Robinson, Harriet Tubman, Alvin Alley. Oh, I'm going over names again. Marian Anderson, Charles Drew, Althea Gibson, Mary McLeod Bethune, Malcolm X, James Baldwin, Medgar Evans, Paul Robeson, Major Taylor, Thurgood Marshall, Langston Hughes, Ethel Waters, Kobe Bryant, Sadie Tanner, Messel Alexander, and even my godfather, Sam Hagen. Many, many, many more. And if I said any names that you don't recognize, please Google them. Seriously, research for yourself exactly why their contributions in lives should be acknowledged, recognized, and celebrated. Finally, local Black-owned businesses to support. Find them, whether it's a law firm, a restaurant, convenience store, accounting firm. It is tax season. Also, mechanics, recording studios, gotsoundstudio.com. It's important that these things happen. And sometimes it isn't because John Smith did it. It's important to recognize that there are accomplishments that have occurred that aren't necessarily because of something that you were told in school because they decided that you were not going to teach you, which is probably what's going to happen in South Carolina too. And because I have this platform, I humbly and proudly thank the Black community here and across the world for continuing to rise above and pass the barrier of hate to help all mankind. So thank you for that. Why is Black History Month celebrated on the shortest month of the year?
That's the question you have to ask our ancestors.
I'm sure it was probably negotiated down to that.
Honestly, I don't know.
All right, if you shut up, we'll give you February.
Man.
You might get a leap year.
Oh, did you get that extra day?
What is the definition of a leap year?
A leap year? Well, our days are only 23 hours and 47 or 59, 47, something like that. And over the course of
it's how
4
they make
years,
it accurate.
Yeah, it's a way of jumping forward so that the day is.
Thank you, Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
Romans.
Another pope. If you could move Black history to any month, what month would you move it?
December.
July.
July I wouldn't mind July.
June.
Why?
It's a great month.
So hold on. Why
June for Juneteenth is in there too. So.
Yeah, that's true. Why December?
Why not?
No, I'm asking.
No, I like it.
You can't answer my question with a question.
I like it.
He likes it. That's a fair enough.
I just like it.
As the only black man, I think he has the biggest say in it.
All right, fair. All right, that's it. We're moving into December. Congratulations. Why? What month did you say?
June. I said Juneteenth's already in there, and I
Juneteenth.
think that's a pretty historical moment to build a month around.
July is a pretty patriotic month. I like July, and June is only 30 days. July is at least 31. So Zach, you lose on that one.
But July already has 4th of July stuck in it. It was ruined shit.
Well, yeah, but our nation was built on the back.
I don't want nothing to take away from Black History Month, so let's just put it in June. And it's summertime. You can go swimming, cook out, do all of that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That is true. I recognize that it takes laws and government to set the legal precedent for equality on this, but.
It's also
which
it
is
can be very
unfortunate.
cold in February, which is just what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's kind of an FU to the whole idea, I guess. All right, so
That's like a good homework assignment, though. Why February?
please, tweet us. Tweet us. Why February?
That would be funny.
So we all saw the spectacle of the Chinese balloon over the weekend.
Crazy.
I watched it from Northern California, but
Did you?
yes.
Did you watch Marjorie Taylor Greene walking around the halls of Congress yesterday with a giant white balloon?
I did.
Why doesn't anyone hit her with a stick?
Because, I mean, I feel people like her are a lot like the Klan and neo-Nazis. You want to, bring a whole, semi full of rope for them to hang themselves on.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
talk it up. Have at it. I want to hear a lot from you.
And she was wearing that coat in Congress.
That was
I
ridiculous.
compared her to the White Queen from Narnia.
Yeah,
she
that's
looked
a
like Tilda
good.
Swinton from the Narnia movie.
That is a fantastic visual because that's she's I don't know how tall she is. I assume
She's not very tall.
Yeah.
She's like a short, muscular woman.
is she muscular?
Yeah, she's like a CrossFit fanatic.
Well, she did spend a lot of time with her physical
If you
trainer.
look at her, she's yoked up. She's got the Viper V on her back, and
So-
big,
She
beefy
looked like the
shoulders.
Wampa that took Luke Skywalker on Hoth.
That spurs another question. If she and Lauren Boebert were to actually fight on the in the halls, let's
Why
say
would they?
fought in
They're
the
buddies.
halls. No, they're not buddies. They apparently are.
They split over McCarthy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
If they were to get into a fight, who would you not pull for necessarily? Because the outcome, I'm sure we all want is different.
MGT, never underestimate a woman with upper body strength
Okay.
over another woman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait, yeah. Does Boebert get a gun? Because that's all she's leaning back
Yeah.
on.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was definitely going to bring that up later about.
Yeah.
I don't know if her previous training as a sex worker will help. her
That
in
was what
situation.
that was where I was going to go because I think the only thing she ever did as far as fighting before was trying to keep Ted Cruz off of her. So but yeah, so the that was what we were going to have. We were going to have Ashlyn Perot call in during the show this afternoon.
Ah, okay. I love that.
Because she filmed the balloon actually
Yes,
exploding
the missile
over her
strike,
house.
and I watched the video she put on social media.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I was sitting in, Fairfield, California, watching that video. I was like, thank you.
It was, and she, she was talking through it, which was pretty funny. But
Oh my God.
yeah, no, she was going to call in and talk about their experience about that, but which was extremely short lived.
And
but
there it was.
It was very exciting. I have family that lives out in Myrtle Beach. They got to see it, and they thought it was cool.
It's not often you get to see a Raptor shoot down a spy satellite with a missile. I mean, I go to military bases exclusively, and the only time I get to experience ordnance is when they're blowing it up downrange.
Right.
Trent, what are you doing?
I'm too hot.
Yeah, dude, take off the sweatshirt.
I got it. I'm too hot. I'll be right back. You're right.
He just won't stop moving. I don't know what's going on.
He's fidgeting. Go fidget. I have a list that I think you guys would think is funny because it's very apropos to talking about Margaret Taylor, and we don't have to do it yet.
Hold on, you said Margaret Taylor.
Marjorie.
That's a different person.
Marjorie Taylor.
Hey, Margaret Taylor in Tennessee.
Hi, Margaret Taylor. Hope you're having fun in Nashville.
Is she in Nashville? I thought it was
Nashville.
Nashville, that's right.
19 things that scream I peaked in high school and deserve to be called out as such.
Oof.
And I saved it for this because I was like, yeah,
Please.
this list is good. You want me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay.
These are 19
I
things.
feel like 90% of the town I grew up in Florida peaked in high school.
And a lot of these are stories, but they're relatable.
I feel like Florida peaked back in the 60s.
Yeah, I would agree.
and now they're just trying to drown out
back when
high school.
Daytona was actually a destination.
Yeah, exactly.
So number one is a girl in my high school girl that I went to high school with has posted multiple Facebook pictures of herself trying on her old cheerleading uniform to show that it still fits.
Oh, okay.
We were in our late 30s and 40s.
Yeesh.
There was this one I'm going to cut it down, but it's basically a very muscular guy that somebody works with, and his son got a award for football, and he was there to watch his son get the award.
Right.
And he asked him, "Well, you're proud of your son?" He's like, "Hell no, I could have done better. I'm just sad I got looked over."
That's dirty. That's dirty.
3 is anyone who has a Salt Life decal on their car and they live nowhere near the ocean.
That's like 90% of the state, man. I love asking people what their favorite in-source species the target is, and they're like, what?
4 is a personal favorite because everyone who has this is just a dork. When under college/university on their Facebook profile, it says School of Hard Knocks.
Oh, that's the boomer special right there.
Where did you go? You know.
Yeah, when you're talking about your education in a room full of boomers. Well, I went to the school of life.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
I had a conversation in a bar with a drinking buddy years ago where he kept going on about the one that got away. He said he said how perfect she was and how great their chemistry was, how he hasn't felt that way about any girl, yada yada. He is feeling pretty sorry for himself and uninterested in meeting anyone else because they could never compare. When I asked how long ago that it was that she moved away, he said 8th grade.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Speaking as someone that was actively dating in the 8th grade, I guess I can kind of see where you might be going, but yeah.
This one's funny. I'm skipping ones that I think are dumb. So we're on to 7. When they say it doesn't get better once you grow up, I told a substitute teacher at my school that people were telling me this all the time, and she said the only people who say that are the ones who peaked in high school. And she said, I miss that teacher every day. 8, the ones who want to organize high school reunions every 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the ones for sure.
Yeah.
Anyone who asks you to join an MLM scheme.
Ooh.
Hold on. What is MLM?
Multi-level marketing.
Oh,
like
a pyramid.
Anything, yeah.
Pyramid scheme.
Anything like
Selling you weight loss things.
Yeah, or like health supplements.
I don't want to call anybody else, but
Makeup.
I've definitely been asked
Mary
by
Kay.
people. I've definitely been asked by people that I went to high school with.
Acai berry.
Look, all you have to do is get 3 people under you, and then they get 3 people under you.
And look at
under
you on
them,
top of the
and
pyramid.
And then you're like midway up the pyramid. And I'm like, yeah, but then I'm doing all the work for the guy that's at the top. That's anyway.
Exactly.
I had a coworker that argued with me he wasn't in a pyramid scheme, and I drew it out for him on a dry erase board. I was like, all right, Jerry, so let's work through this. You're up here at the top, and they're telling you if you get this person and this person to contribute,
And they get more. And
they're going to get more. And then all of a sudden, this funnels right back up to you.
Yeah. There's always a Jerry.
And I said, let's connect these lines real quick. What's this look like, Jerry?
Yeah.
And don't get it conflated, Jerry. You're not going to get anyone under you. You were, in fact, one of these people under that guy at the top.
Exactly.
Number 10. One guy I knew literally got our school emblem and mascot in a huge class of 2010 tattooed on his shoulder.
2010?
Yeah.
That's such a Rock Hill thing. I could see that, because it's football city, and a lot of those guys, peaked in high school big time.
Oh, my gosh.
This one is, I can sum it down to number 11, is cheer moms.
Yes.
Cheer moms never left high school, and they click up and stuff. Number 12, when people regularly repost the same picture of their one notable moment they had in high school. So someone could be 40, and they're like, "It's me winning a football championship," and me.
The
and
Al Bundy.
Yeah. Oh,
How many touchdowns in a single game? Was it 6 touchdowns in a single game? Something like that.
It was a record.
Polk High School.
Polk High School. That's right.
What it was. I was like, damn. I've watched Married with Children recently, and he didn't talk about it. It might have been the 2 episodes he didn't. Anyone who bullies,
that's when you know Ed Harris is writing his own scripts because he gets to mention the same thing over and over. Yeah.
13, anyone who bullies adults as if they're still in high school.
Fair.
So those bar guys who are just like, "What are you doing, faggot?" Like that kind of stuff.
Hey, Matt Vilardebo, I hear you're a real libtard now.
Exactly that.
See a lot of personal growth from you over the decades.
This is number 14 is the Uncle Rico.
Clearly now I'm going to have to question evolution. Is that?
I can throw this football over them mountains.
Number 14, the Uncle Rico. They keep insisting for the next 30 years that if they would have been put in the state championship game, they would have won.
Right? Yeah.
15, if they tattooed their last name across their shoulders.
Oh, jeez. Serious? Their own last name?
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
Of course.
It makes it easier to identify the corpse.
Their face down. His last name is Taylor. Let's figure this out.
Y'all see, I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
So whenever I run into other tattooed people and they show me stuff, that's usually the joke I crack.
Is that your cell number?
I'm like, are you worried your mom and dad are gonna not be able to figure out it's you? What?
Inmate 14361. That's ironic, right?
It's number 17, talking about your IQ and advanced placement classes from high school when you did nothing afterwards. You're 48 and still talking about being in honors English. Please stop. Number 18, in my experience, is always the people who talk about the things that happened in high school as if it was yesterday. And this person had an ex who always told them wild stories, and then when I asked when it happened, she'd say, sophomore year of high school. We were in our mid-30s. And lastly, number 19, whenever anyone asks whether or not you were popular in high school, they clearly peaked in high school.
Yeah, that's fair.
Were you popular in high school?
Are you asking me?
No,
I was not. I was not popular in high school. I was at least on, I think I knew virtually everyone's names, and if I didn't, then it was Chief or Buddy or whatever. But I don't think I was popular in high school.
I got along with everybody just because I'm not an asshole, but I was always looking for how do I get out of high school.
Yeah, I think that was the same way I fit in. It wasn't necessarily like everybody was like, oh, there's Barrett walking down the hallway. It was more like, oh, there's that fat guy walking down the hallway.
I was the person everyone would meet to come get in the truck and leave early for pep rallies when they started.
Sure.
The principal chased us on our go-kart one time. Golf cart.
I was in band. I was in chorus.
You had to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got, surprisingly enough, in a lot of trouble in high school.
Oh.
So the school that I ended up getting into, that when I got expelled from the public school system, had a whopping 18 seniors in our senior class. Really? Because they were the only Church of God school that would take a troubled Matt Vilardebo into their embrace. So senior year, I was student government president at this school.
Yeah.
And I was in the Bible club.
See,
as well as graduating with best testimony.
So
you cannot beat best testimony.
So a 16, 17, 18-year-old Matt Vilardebo in a Bible school, how did that go? Was it a different?
Was there a J to your Silent Bob, or was there a Silent Bob to your J?
So I was like, I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so the deal with the judge was that if I go to the school and stay the narrow and graduate, they'll dismiss all these pending felonies against me, and if not, I can go sit in juvenile detention until I'm 18 years old.
Not great.
The things that we're learning today.
Yeah, I was not a good kid at all. I made my parents lose some sleep.
My father taught me 2 very good lessons about high school when it comes to being social. If you want to fight somebody, get them to come around the corner where there's nobody and then fight them and beat them up, surprise them. And then the second one was get other people to do the dumb shit and reap the rewards.
See,
my dad was, if you're going to get in a fight, hit that guy in the mouth first when he least expects it, especially when he's running his mouth to you.
Exactly.
The only fight that I can think of that was actually planned out was one where me and another guy met the guy that we were going to fight at the top of the hill, which was where the tennis court was. And this was elementary school. Like, after that, no other fight was ever planned. And I'm not saying I got into a lot of fights. I didn't. I broke up several fights in high school, but like that was it. But it was a fight with a guy that I'm friends with now on Twitter that we met him on the tennis court, and I don't think a fist was thrown. Like, because we were like funny. 6th grade, 7th grade. I think it was just more like, we don't really want to do this. This is dumb, whatever.
Planned fights never go the way you think they will.
Yeah.
We had one. Fights when I was in a fight never got to the plan stage. It just got to the, I'm going to fight you when I decide it's time to fight you kind of thing. But we did have one planned fight where it was our friend versus another clique of people's friend, and we met in a field. And as soon as they were driving up, the fight basically started pulling each other out of the car. And once we all got to the field, their side and my buddy's side, we were like, oh, we're friends with him too. So we just sat around, high five, drink some beers, and we're like, this fight's going on forever. It was eventually half sleep slap fighting that they had fought so long.
The only fight that I can think of that I remember from like elementary school, because I went to school in Atlanta, and there were several times where it was a Bloods versus Crip where there was a fight.
Yeah, you're like, yeah,
but our school was technically a safe, it was considered a safe zone. But in elementary school, I can remember there were 2 twins that I went to elementary school with, a girl, and I can't remember her name. I think her last name was Cortez. But they got into a fight, and it was way down over at the backstop of a softball field or a kickball field or whatever. And the only thing I remember is they got into a fight, and then our PE coach, James O'Donnell, who I'm not sure if he's still teaching, but
where you at, James?
He was the best. We called him Dr. O because he had a doctorate. He was a doctor of education, physical education.
Yeah.
But after the fight occurred, he pulled everyone over into the amphitheater that was attached to our school, and basically was talking about it. And then when everybody, when that broke up and everybody, we were heading back to class or whatever, I just remembered like this ball of hair like drifts by like a out of the desert or something like that. Yeah. But I was about to reach down and pick it up, and I think my friend Natalie turned it. She's like, no. That was somebody's that got yanked out.
There was 2 black
girl
chicks.
Fights are ruthless.
Yeah, there was 2 black chicks that fought at lunch one time, and it happened like fast, like wow.
Oh yeah.
Literally ball of hair, just like you're saying. Just like I'm like, Jesus Christ, ladies, like
yeah.
But at lunch, whenever you would fight, you would get that one teacher. He'd be like, "What's going on?" And you'd be like, one kid would have a bloody lip and be like, "Nothing's going on, right?" Like,
mind your business.
Nothing's going on.
You went to school here.
Yeah, we went to school in the sticks, so fights. It's funny that we talk about peaking in high school, and we just spent 10 minutes telling high school stories.
Yeah, but none of them involve I don't think they really. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Can't fight now. Trent actually missed out on that because there was every other fucking day I was hearing about Trent and Byron getting in a fight.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. So Trent and Dominique's brother Byron would fight at school?
Anywhere.
Would they fight each other, or they'd fight other people?
No, other people.
Oh, okay.
It was one. They were both there when who was fighting somebody.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd like to hear more about that.
Oh, we'll ask him as soon as he gets cooled down, I guess.
I almost feel like I'd prefer to have Byron on to talk about it.
You would love Byron.
Yeah. Oh no, I like Byron. Byron's great.
Yeah.
So.
Byron's actions about.
So just real quick, we're going to take a break in a second, but I did want to bring up the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing from last night. I feel like, and this isn't something that I normally just jump on board, but after I did watch the State of the Union last night, I honestly feel like Biden got a victory out of that.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, he literally negotiated the debt ceiling
right there
on the floor.
He like secured Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah.
Like, you know, old Sleepy Joe okey doked everybody last night, and I fucking loved every second of it.
That was pretty amazing.
All I wanted is when Marjorie was yelling.
Rises.
Yeah, I saw that.
All I wanted is when Marjorie Taylor Greene was yelling for someone to just be like, "Hey, lady!"
Yeah,
just shut up.
Well, you saw McCarthy.
He was shushing her.
Yeah, he was shushing her like a handful of times.
Well, she doesn't respect him.
Did anybody see Ralph Norman there last night?
No, I missed him.
I looked for him. He's, you know, he put out some social media posts today, you know, criticizing Biden. Of course. It's so funny to listen to somebody who is so firmly has his tentacles on Henry McMaster's ball sack.
Right. Yep.
You know, criticize Biden for all this Sleepy Joe stuff, and he seemed like he stuttered and took long pauses. It's like, now wait a minute. Is this the same guy? I mean, Sleepy Henry didn't look real good against Joe Cunningham in that debate. I think at best he looked befuddling.
I agree.
And but I get it. You know, we're in South Carolina and people don't really care about making those like causal correlations.
I got to be honest.
There was this one representative out there. He has bald on top. He has brown on the sides. He's a pudgy fella. But he was talking. It's half of him, I know. But he was talking. I can't remember.
Was he white? Was he white? I'm guessing he was white.
But he was talking about.
I keep him in my underwear.
They were talking about how Biden was wanting to keep Medicare going and stuff.
Right.
All that going, and he's the whole time going.
Yeah, shaking his head.
And they're playing the exact opposite on the other screen of him talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Mike Lee. Okay, so are you referring to Mike Lee?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Mike Lee was the guy that was... My description. Yeah, he doesn't describe it. Mike Lee is the guy that was really, really pushing for Rick Scott to become minority leader in the Senate.
Yeah. He is from Florida. Then.
And yeah.
Yes.
What was it, 11 years ago? It was like 10 or 11 years ago. He literally was in a campaign dinner, I guess, telling all of his constituents that were there at this dinner that his number one goal was to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, cut Medicaid, like wanted to eliminate it. And he went on after, I don't know if it was a podcast or it was Fox News or something like that, but he went on immediately after and was like, Biden completely... He said things that weren't true for nearly half of the people, and it's like you're talking about the Republican half, because that's something that I hear out of Joe Wilson all the time. That Social Security and Medicare is a drain, an entitlement. It's a drain on the entire system. And it's like, you don't know how trust funds work.
Right.
Yeah. Every time I hear somebody say something about Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, and these are programs that are Medicare and Social Security, at least at the very least, are programs that we pay into and then we get out of. Mm-hmm. It's not, there's this talk about wanting to privatize it. And while I don't have an issue with the idea of figuring out a way of adding more money to it, I don't mind paying extra if I'm getting more out of it. Like, I wouldn't even mind paying more extra into it if I didn't, I barely pay federal taxes, like, because I've got 3 kids. It's not really something that I pay a whole lot of money into. I would be more than willing if
it's going to help boost it.
Yeah. I hate you. I got a $6,000 tax bill last year.
Oh man, what have you done your taxes this year?
Not yet, but my tax bill will. I paid into
you made some corrections.
Savings
you're like April 1st.
Oh no, I don't. I come out.
I got a 30% raise last year.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations on that. But I pretty much come out even on federal taxes. South Carolina state taxes, I cannot.
I get a refund on South Carolina state taxes.
That's the one I'll always.
And I came from Florida where there was no state income tax, so that was like a shock for me. But it works out really well because, like, the state gets their money from everybody that way.
Right, correct.
Even folk, like, I'm renting a home. I don't even own my home.
Gotcha.
And they get their money from me through that damn income tax on your vehicles they charge you.
Correct. Yeah.
Which was shocking to me.
It is a weird scenario.
Because it's like a $45 registration fee in Florida. That's it.
Yeah.
You do it online.
So South Carolina likes to bend you over to the hot coals and tell you how much they love you.
Well, it'd be different if I was driving on these pristine roads.
Yeah, those really nice.
Oh, wait, we're gonna tax the gas now.
Junky roads.
Yeah.
Then Metro didn't pay that 1 cent tax or whatever.
Right? Yeah.
Fuckers.
Yeah. I don't want to be taxed more as long as the money that's coming in is enough to cover everything necessary and to take care of the things that I think are necessary.
Well, Matt, did you see this one? You had to pay more taxes if you own an electric vehicle or even a Prius.
So I don't own anything like that, but I'm looking into buying something.
Yeah, because they screw you.
Yeah, I mean, and in this state, I mean, I remember I rented like a combined vehicle. It was like a hybrid electric.
A hybrid, yeah.
And we're in South Carolina. Fort Mill, especially, is embarrassing. There's like nowhere to publicly charge a vehicle.
That's crazy.
In York County.
That's crazy.
And I remember asking, like, on my little neighborhood Facebook group, hey, where's a public charging station in Fort Mill? And everybody's like, well, TKK this and Rock Hill that. And I'm like, no, that's Fort Mill.
Yeah, I'm not going to charge it just to drive it over there and drive it back.
We have 2 whole interstate exits off of I-77 where, and there's gas stations and there's parking, and the big wealthy family in town owns one of these big shopping centers right next to the interstate. It's befuddling to me.
They charged me. I had a Prius 2 vehicles ago, so maybe 4 years ago. When I got the tax bill, I'm like, $60 because what? And they're like, oh, you don't use gasoline like everybody.
So they're not getting their gas tax.
Yeah, we're not.
Exactly.
But the federal government is giving you a break on that vehicle.
No.
At least the purchase of it.
Mine was a 2004.
Oh,
so they were like doubly fuck you. Did you get?
But if you get a newer one, you do get the tax break on the purchase.
So like if you have a Tesla, it's like $120.
I'm not buying a Tesla though.
Yeah.
We had that conversation.
Just for the door handle. I don't care about Elon. It's just those damn door handles. We get ice consistently in this state.
I don't know anyone that is optimally, and I say optimally, I don't know anyone that is absolutely in love with their Tesla. Like
I know
the people that own them have complaints. They have software issues. It doesn't start up right. Sometimes they get errors.
The people who can afford Teslas are like, God damn, I stuck the door closed.
Yeah,
my F-150 started. Fuck yes.
A friend of ours, they own a Tesla, and their daughter brought it over here for like a band competition one weekend.
Yeah,
and it ran out of charge, and she was lucky she was here.
I know.
Because the Tesla dealership got her hooked up.
I know 2 people that have had Teslas where the batteries have either completely discharged to the point where it could not be charged again. Like it was going to require a replacement of the batteries, which is another like
that's
30
like a
grand.
whole other vehicle.
Basically you might as well just buy a new vehicle, and it's not covered. It's not warranty. It's just you did something wrong.
You're right. And I'll tell you this: after my vehicle after the Prius was a RT Charger, which had the Hemi.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome car.
It couldn't get you out of that accident.
Not great. And now I own a 5.3 Tahoe, which I love it.
And I've seen it out there with your little Coheed sticker on it.
Absolutely. Fucking going to go see him with Incubus in May.
Sorry.
And then sorry. I've never seen Incubus. Are they that bad in concerts?
I like Incubus.
I'm an old school metalhead, metal guy.
Oh, that's fair.
You at least appreciate
I love old Incubus.
Right.
Like old Incubus.
Yeah,
they
90s.
were a new metal band when they first came out.
Oh, if they show up and they're playing anything out of the last 10 years.
Their EP and their first album, Science, are heavy AF.
Yeah.
But everything after that is like garbage, like adult contemporary alternative.
Well, Garbage was a good band.
That's your barefoot people that Trent were talking about. You need rugs and shit.
And
fair enough.
I only like one Coheed song.
Coheed's rad no matter what.
Home.
You're just wrong if you don't like Coheed. Dude,
I like Claudio a lot, though. He does a lot of work with this 2 minutes past late night crew out of New York.
Where he did a Rush cover.
Does a lot of cover songs.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
He is fantastic. I mean, I think that's the quintessential Rush cover band.
Oh yeah.
It was him doing.
And
Anthem.
they played an off Rush cover. What was it?
They did Anthem, which was fantastic.
Because that's an off Rush song to actually play when it comes to their popular.
Yeah, it's a deep cut.
Yeah. Well, that's like 2113 is one of their hidden tracks that plays off of Rush. So it was, dude. Coheed is the best, and no one can argue that. If you don't like Coheed,
before we go to break, I'll just say that Cake did initiate. They did launch their tour, or they did at least acknowledge that their tour is coming up. So
really, I love Cake.
The
I
only
thought you were about
Coast,
to say Cake has found us out about the.
No. No. Cake. They're going to play in Boston and New York and I think Philadelphia. But
that's cool.
But
that's
just I do too. I
saw one of those '90s bands. I was really into it. They had a great style. I love
one of my favorites.
If you can put horns into like anything rocky, I love it.
I've got a CD at the house that's signed by Frank the trumpet player from Cake.
That's awesome.
So, all right, we're gonna take a break. We'll come back. This is the All About Nothing podcast.
This is the ghost of Gilbert Godfrey, and you're listening to the All About Nothing podcast.
Welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. Zach King, Trent Clark, Matt Vilardebo is here with us. I am Barrett Gruber. Want to welcome Trent back to the show. Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see y'all, man. Haven't seen y'all in a while.
If the transcript works right, then it will it will say the reason that he had to get up and leave.
Correct.
Because I couldn't tell. I thought you said you were too hot. So I was like, well, just take off the sweatshirt.
Nah, man. I got too high. I got way too high before the show started. I learned from this. It'll never happen again. I want to be professional. You know what I mean? So, sorry, Mr. V, that this happened on yours, but we went viral, though. You know what I mean? So, hope y'all had good conversations after I left. I didn't want to just bust back in here because I'll be like, man, this would be too crazy.
Well, I don't know if it's any better than, please, people.
That is absolutely one of my favorite from any of our recordings. Please, people.
Stop.
So this is for all the kids watching out there. Do not get high on your own supply. All right, that's all I got to say, man.
Are you giving it away that you're growing it now?
No. I'm
okay.
just saying it's mine. I should have waited.
So before we went to break, during part of our conversation, you mentioned the fact that Lauren Boebert and guns. You guys are aware that she tried to add an amendment to one of the recent bills that they were debating
To bring a gun to Congress.
to be able to bring a gun to Congress.
Yeah.
She's not the first one to do that either.
I'm curious. Does anyone think that that's a good idea?
No way.
For that much dumb,
Yeah.
humanoid, stupid walking around? No, absolutely not.
I mean, I got a problem with it.
You have a problem with them?
I said I don't have a problem with it.
With them bringing guns into Congress?
I don't got a problem with it.
Do you know
They're only
South
taking
Carolina?
them out, right?
South Carolina is one of the few states I know where this has happened, where one of the state legislators actually beat another man with his cane on the floor of the state house.
Andrew Jackson was notorious. That's why they called him Old Hickory. He was notorious.
He would do the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things that sticks out because
Awful.
like I was watching some of these videos and I was reading comments. I was like, is it all right to bring a cane to the state house floor? And it's like literally 90% of those old white guys all are on canes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I suspect that a lot of the younger white guys will be on canes.
It was the
anyway.
most fucked up rendition of Star Wars you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, as far as with January 6th, if we're being for real, with that happening, like,
but should the Congress
for all them people to not have guns, and I know all of them had guns in their car, probably.
You think so?
No,
I don't know
so
that they
the
did.
gun laws in the district are crazy strict.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
strict.
I know
I was
they're
saying.
allowed to carry. I know there's like some like level of clearance they get at the federal level when they're serving, where they are allowed to carry. I just don't know what the rules are on that. Clearly, bringing them into the halls of Congress.
Well, that was the first thing they
it's
did.
not in the chips.
Bobart's not there.
No.
I don't know about anybody else at the table, but I was in the middle of a gunfight one time, and I remember like trying to hide behind a light pole for cover. I was so desperate.
Man.
So it's not like a situation. I mean, you really need nerves of steel
Yeah.
when the gunfire starts to be like, yeah, I'm running towards that.
That's one of those. Yeah.
I wouldn't look at it as a towards it. I would look at it as if they pop out of nowhere, I'm able to defend myself.
Yep.
So, thing. Like if they,
It's one thing to say I'm going to back myself into a corner and defend my position, but a lot of these, proud patriot types think they're going to,
Oh, of course.
I look at it like
get
you're going to
into
Walmart. You get what I'm saying?
close quarters, small arms combat situation and just cool hand Luke their way out.
Right.
There.
Right.
I've never been shot at, but I've had people bring guns and they quickly got the shit beat out of them before they could do anything with said gun.
Yeah.
I even having lived in Atlanta for as long as I did, and there was a violence problem with guns in Atlanta at the time when I lived there.
It's still
peaks
there
and
waiting for you.
So yeah,
Definitely.
probably.
And they're robbing cars too. So
But I can't imagine a scenario where I am going to outgun someone that's already got something drawn. And while I understand that there are people that probably could, I don't know. I like when I first started carrying a gun. One of the things that I thought, because it was after the Colorado shooting in the movie theater.
Over in Aurora.
Aurora. One of the things that my buddy Don and I would talk about is like if that had been us, we would, if we'd been in the movie theater, we could return fire and probably, because he came in there and just started shooting into the crowd and whatnot because he came in the back door. But like, could we have put him down? And I'm like, I mean, I'm pretty good at 15 yards, but past that, it's not enough. I don't think.
But you're not getting shot at the range.
True, exactly.
Well, but how long till you truly or mentally to get your shit together for a moment? Because that's loud even compared to being in a new movie theater. Because he was blowing people away with that like
up close
SAS shotgun or whatever it was called, the Saiga, and he was just pumping it. So at first I'd probably be disoriented, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly.
This is not Batman. Then would I have the wherewithal to be like, oh,
let me return fire?
See, I used to carry a lot in Florida.
Yeah.
But since
I respect that.
but
that seems necessary.
Up here, I don't. I mean, I got rid of my semi-auto. I mean, I just have a revolver, and I don't think I've ever left the house with that thing.
Yeah.
A little 38 special.
Yep.
Saturday night special.
That's all I need. I mean, I'm just thinking, if something goes sideways, somebody tries to come in that house.
Yeah.
That's really all I care about. Everything I really care about, I can fit in my hand for the most part. Anything else, I'm never gonna like stop a robbery.
Yeah.
If I'm carrying,
well,
you can have that wallet.
Yeah.
I can take care of that. Nobody needs to die for my wallet.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But if like, I don't know, it's like hard to explain.
You start killing people.
Having like that shooting I was caught in Tampa, 4 people got shot. And
was this in Tabor City?
It was in Ybor City.
Ybor City. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it was right, and it's like in the middle of like Party Time Central in the Party District of Tampa, and when the shooting stopped, and you look around, all these people are laid out on the sidewalks and streets, shot and bleeding, and I mean, there's a lot of. It was bad, and so I just, I know how chaotic those situations. I feel like a lot of people overestimate their skill set.
It can be seconds.
I see a lot of folks aren't battle ready, if you were, in these 9-line shirts and their 511 tactical shirts.
You definitely need those PTSD dudes.
You say that. I have 511 backpacks, so it's because they hold up really good. They're canvas.
I got my Line 9 T-shirts ready to go. Yeah, all
sitting here drinking my the Black Rifle coffee.
Yeah, right.
Or you wear the Chris Kyle shit, the violence solves problems.
Yeah. I love teasing those guys about the Punisher because I'm a comic nerd. So
yeah,
I'm always like,
the Punisher.
Dude, I love the Punisher. Which version of the Punisher do you like? Welcome Back, Frank, or you like the original version by Mike Mignola? And
can you tell me the one issue of Punisher that he liked the cops and didn't shoot them?
He killed cops.
That was like his thing. He killed the Avengers. You should see that as well.
The scenario that plays out in my head is if I ever had to defend my home in a situation where someone came into it, and the question, or I guess the thing that I always hear from people is they're always like, "Oh yeah, I'd shoot him in the chest and kill him." And it's like I don't know that I could. I know I can tell the difference between a knee and a gun or a
center mass
stomach
is what you want.
Yeah, I understand that, but the idea of killing somebody, I mean, even the breaking into the home, it's not. And I understand that's a scenario that probably won't occur the way that I want it to. But I honestly, I'd probably.
You don't want to take a life, but
and it's an image you won't get out your head
ever.
No, I mean, like I don't know who at the table, but I mean, I've like watched people die right in front of me, holding them in my arms.
Yeah,
and I remember those. I will never forget those. I mean, whether they be strangers or family members.
Yeah.
Watching somebody die, whether you're related to it directly or not.
Yeah, I mean, I held some old lady in my arms that got hit by a car in Denver last year.
Wow.
As she died, and I mean, I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Watch those people who love animals and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love animals, but even watching a life leave an animal, you're like, damn. And then it's literally personified when you see it.
It's supposed to feel that way. That's what makes you not a sociopath.
Yeah. When you feel sorrow about it. Yeah.
Preaching.
Also, does anybody else?
That's what makes you go, you want to come by for some brewskis?
Yeah, exactly.
Does anybody else feel weird about the number of people that have died near Matt?
Yeah, man. I didn't want to say it. I
don't want to hear it. Shout out to me. I was telling her how many people died around me, and she was like, "I don't think we can be friends anymore." And I was like,
"Good God, man!"
I mean, listen. I mean,
and y'all got me sitting right beside him.
I love you guys. Y'all are
now he's touching me. You know what I'm saying? Putting the juju on.
We were hanging out with Matt. Matt killed a guy. He was crying the whole time, but it was like a laugh cry.
Trent went home and got too high. Just
Too funny.
Oh, we do want to run it back, just like Spencer Rattler coming back. We were talking about high school shit because when you were gone, I read a list showing how you peaked in high school and shit like that. Not you specifically. But
I thought you was talking about me because I peak every day.
No, in general, people like traits of
You
people
should
who
not
peaked
be
in high
allowed in
school.
public.
But we were talking about getting in fights in high school, and I mentioned to Barrett and Matt that you and Byron got in tussles with other people on the reg, like constantly.
Yeah, man, it wasn't nothing I'm proud of, but I feel like when I came to Chapin, me and Byron like set a new tone at Chapin because at one point in time, a lot of the football
Black don't crack.
a lot of the football players was like on a little bit. We're not really racist, but we gonna say some racist things. So we just had to
habitual line steppers.
Yeah, we had to make sure they
was a line, put a toe.
We had to make sure they knew their role. I had one dude. You remember Turtle?
Yeah.
I got to fight.
Also,
the guy's name was Turtle. He was redhead, big. He was like a lineman, but
Trent beat the nice into this boy.
He had said we was going back and forth, and
Did you injure his brain?
Oh man, I laid some knots on him, man. Like when you hear what he said, he was like we was going back and forth, and then he said, "I'm gonna hang your mom."
I remember the story of that being told. I was not there because I would have hit him myself.
So then when he said that, I just went blank and just went off on him.
Did you see
man,
red?
It was nothing. Yeah, because he was red after I touched him. So
No. Did you see the like?
Oh yeah, I feel what you're saying.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't during ROTC, was it?
Nah. We had got cool in
Master Chief's not
ROTC.
gonna let that happen.
No, that was in gym class. He was brave enough to talk junk in the gym room, gym locker room with no teachers around.
With dodgeballs?
No,
we was in the locker room. Yeah,
you got to dodge these balls while I'm whipping your ass.
That sounds like a medical issue.
But yeah, he learned, and Byron had to do a couple different fights too, and after that, like Dominique came through. Dominique had to put his hands on a couple people. Man, it's just you gotta let people know where the line is to go.
Sonic, there was many times Trent would come over and I'd be like, "So what'd you do, Trent? What the fuck happened here?" He'd be like, "Well," or you'd be there and go like, "All right, Trent's got it."
Yeah, I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing I'm proud of, but you just gotta stand up for your own, and that's with my son being mixed, I gotta let him know that he can't have anybody, like willing to throw those type of jabs at him. But it's a different world with him now because everybody we used to fight with hands. Now people fight with guns, so it's different. It's so different right now, even with my son. So it's like I don't know what to teach him now. I'm like in a predicament where it's like if you do defend yourself, how do you defend yourself? The tactical way to defend yourself and make it all defense. I got to put them like all on defense. You have to
in the offense, man. Get them first.
Nah, it has to be defense, man.
So in this day and age, do you feel like Rio being mixed have things changed? Have they progressed where you think that he potentially is not going to see the type of abuse that you and Byron and Dominique and lots?
Well, it all depends on the school and it's not really the school, it's the parents. Everybody always trying to move their kid to the best school. Okay, you can have the best school in the world, but if the parents suck, then the foundation is messed up from the beginning. Yeah. So Chapin was always the best school, but a lot of the parents was just on that old school mentality, and their kids picked up on it, and they felt like what they used to do back in the day is okay for them to do now, and that's where we had to stand our role. And when me and Byron left that school, a lot of people respected us. We wasn't popping off. We weren't no bad guys. We was just standing up for what we knew was right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Chapin, we used to have like people come with rebel flag blankets and stuff.
Oh, of course.
But we used to get in trouble when we used to have the African blankets.
Yeah.
Seriously?
And see, the thing is, when I didn't see how it went until you and me started hanging out all those years ago, like 16 years, dude. Actually, like 17 years now.
Yeah,
years changing. But then you hanging out with y'all starting to see like the shit that would happen, even from my own parents at sometimes. It'd be like, you can't say that, and it was not like overtly a racist thing to say, but it was a racist.
It was just their time. They felt like
And you're like, and that's hard for old people to do, is like change your vernacular.
Exactly.
Like, you can't just say
unlearn something.
Yeah. like that was okay for you, but calling somebody colored, you can't do that. Yeah, it's just not how it works. But it was good. It was an eye-opening experience. But when we were talking about fighting, I was like, I know Trent got in it.
Oh yeah, man, my girl seen it. Like when we first got together, this is how I knew she had my back, because it happened in 5 Points. 5 Points is envious for letting people in that they want to let in. So my girl was in there with a group of friends. We all standing in line.
Catching hepatitis.
Yeah, of course. What is it at the Bird Dog? Is that remember the Bird Dog? Yeah. So we was there. We in line, and then all of a sudden, my girl is there with like 4 of her friends, and the security guard all of a sudden just thought that I wasn't with them because it was 4 white girls. So he was like, "Hold on, man, I can't let you in." He looked at my shoes. He's like, "Yeah, you don't got the right shoes on." I looked in the club. I was like, "Look, he's got right." Da 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 da. I was pointing him out. He's like, "Man, it's our discretion, man. We can let who we in." And my girl just went off on this.
Color of the seat in the shoes.
Yeah. She left crying because of how mad she was. So I knew. Like her dating me, yeah, she's seen it. You know what I'm saying? She's from Pittsburgh, so she probably haven't really seen it like out there wide open.
Sure,
I don't give a fuck what you think. This is my rules.
Yeah, we put it on TikTok down here.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I guess that's one of those scenarios as a white guy in the United States, especially in South Carolina. It's not a scenario that I can fully associate with, because I've not had the experience of a young black man who constantly you're having to look over your shoulder.
Correct. And I'm not even going to put it off on, because it is Black History Month, so I don't want to take away from that, but even your daughters could feel some type of, it's not really racism, but if a child feels like they're better than another white child feels like they're better than your child because of the living situation, then that's the type of bullying we deal with. Like, certain kids know when their parents are making money. They know, like, to throw it in other kids' faces, like, oh, you don't got the right shoes on, or you don't got a PlayStation 5 yet, type stuff. So it's like,
my dad
keeping up with the Joneses is so hard now.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
Yeah,
but Trent and Dominique hanging out with them did put me in. I think 9 out of 10 of our shows, I was the only white dude.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it was hilarious. Like, I always tell this story, but when we went to the one club, and when I go in, Trent went in first, and they stopped me, and Trent's like, "White boys with us." I'm like, "God damn!" I'm like carrying a guitar.
This is the one in Orangeburg.
Yeah, correct.
So we go to the other stage. I get done and I play, and they're like, "Damn, white boy can play guitar. This is fucking great. This whole group's great." Finally, I'm leaving. The bouncers are slapping me on the back, and they stop Trent. I'm like, "Black dudes with me. Bring him on in."
They respected him. They're like, "Oh, he's got the blues."
That's what every show was.
Facts. It was.
It was just like, oh.
They were so surprised when you came in there and you was like playing rap music with the guitar. It sounded so good. It was something new. It was something a lot of people weren't really doing that. So I told Nick all the time, man, we got to get back to doing that as far as like live shows and bringing the instruments into it, because that was genuine. That was like, a lot of people weren't ready for what we were bringing. It was way different.
We did that one show at Envy, and then dudes kept trying to give me their card to come play on their shit. And I was like, no, it's technique, period. And then we had to get Jonathan to come to the next one because they were trying that shit again.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Facts, yep.
And he was with, was it Gorilla Gangs or whatever? That the bodyguard thing?
Yep. Gorilla, I think it's Gorilla Unit or something like that.
Yeah. You can come away with stacks where they're just like, you play for us. Play for us. I'm like,
wow.
It's these guys or nobody.
Yeah.
I think the only person I did play for outside of that was Primo.
Primo.
And he sweated. That was
we got to get Primo back on. He went all the way bald now, so we got to get him on.
He went all the way bald?
Yeah, he's all the way bald now. You wouldn't even recognize him now.
I wouldn't recognize him anyway. He was wearing sunglasses. Yeah, Primo was fun to have.
We got to get Primo back.
God, he's a trip. That dude's crazy. You never meet anybody like him.
No,
so,
never.
I did want to ask. We talked about it. I'm not sure if you're here. Did anybody watch the State of the Union last night, or did you watch the recap? You watched the whole thing.
I watched recaps.
I just watched the little recap, and I seen the people being real disrespectful in the back.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy, right?
Like, that stuff don't bother me one bit. I agree, it is disrespectful, but
you in the back for a reason.
I just let it, like, like
on live TV. Again, you gonna do that to me though?
It's one of those, like, make a fool of yourself. Just keep it up. I feel like that really worked against them.
Oh, for sure.
I felt like Joe looked really strong and, put the rest,
How did
I don't know. He expertly did some things last night, that were
I feel like they should get fined.
mind-blowing.
I feel like they should get fined like the NBA be getting fined
or
for
the NFL,
right?
yeah.
No,
like-
I agree with that. I'd like to see
Yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
like censure.
Yeah.
But the Matt Gaetz clique that Marjorie Taylor Greene is clearly in with,
Yeah.
the most punchable face in Congress, maybe the fucking
no,
U.S.
Bob,
No
between-
disagreement.
No.
He definitely should play the next Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
I might potentially put Santos pretty close up there.
No, I'd rather punch Matt fucking
Nah,
Gaetz.
if you look up douchebag
Matt
in a
Gaetz.
dictionary,
Okay, yeah.
you see
Well,
Matt
he's a
Gaetz's
sex offender.
picture.
He's got,
Yeah, sex
I mean,
But it's
trafficker.
just like
alleged.
that classic, like, 80s douche.
Yeah.
What are you doing on my mountain, Bob?
Yeah,
Like, get
I
the
can see that.
fuck Out of here.
Like, his name should be Biff or something.
Yeah.
Or, Blaine.
I've never met.
I feel like Matt is pretty.
Blaine Gates. He
I'm
doesn't
Blair.
deserve to be
Blair.
a Matt.
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna
He's
say.
not of Matt caliber as far as I'm concerned.
But you
Ooh,
attach
let
the
him know.
Gates to it. I feel like the Gates probably takes away from
he's
the
such
madness.
a prick. Like, in anyone, I've never met a Matt Gaetz supporter, but I'm sure they're worse than he is.
I'm sure my brother.
He somehow
Really?
gets.
I got a younger brother that's deep in the weeds with these folks.
Did you ever see
Oh,
Did you ever see the correct lip reading of him and Kevin McCarthy arguing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he's like, cut the fucking shit. He's like, why don't you sit down? I was like, Matt Gaetz will never tell me to sit down.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'll get
there's never-
kicked out of Congress that day, beating the fuck out of him.
Honestly, if you were part of the Republican Party, I don't feel like there's anything you can do to get kicked out of their.
I'd choke him like Homer chokes Bart Simpson.
Yeah, I mean, really, what does one do to be, shunned by the Republican Party? Like, be caught hugging Pelosi?
Yeah. I mean, like for Kevin McCarthy, though, he literally has a group of 15 to 20 in his caucus that are basically running the entire show because he was so desperate to become Speaker of the House. And here's the thing.
Ralph Norman's one of them.
Yeah, but but the craziest thing about it was like the Republicans had no one else that they could have gotten elected as Speaker of the House. It just wasn't going to happen. So it was
Yeah.
Kevin McCarthy or nothing. But like
Matt Gaetz said Donald Trump should do it.
nobody was excited about having Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker. Like
His own people didn't even vote for him.
Who else would
For a
you
little
pick?
bit.
You're absolutely right. Like, who else the fuck are you going to pick?
nobody. There's no leader in the Republican
Make
Party.
Marjorie Taylor Greene the fucking Speaker of the House. Watch that shit go through.
That would have
He's like the
that would have
most
turned my stomach.
insignificant, Speaker of the House
Yeah.
ever, I would,
Well-
in my lifetime.
And he's completely
Oh, and it's
dissolved
a
himself
shame.
of any power. I mean, he quite
yeah.
literally has no power there because he's given it all to those 14 to 20, members that were trying to keep him from being elected. It's crazy.
The two most useless people so far sitting behind the president is Kamala Harris and fucking Kevin McCarthy. Because what the fuck is she doing too?
Well, first of all, to be
Hang out
vice
at the
president,
UNO.
yeah,
What's this?
Yeah, but to be
the
vice-
observatory is nice. Look at the sky.
but to be
all
vice
right,
president,
all right.
that's essentially what the job is.
And also, what did Biden do whenever Obama was in the chair?
Exactly. Nothing.
Nothing.
It's not a.
Yeah, stay out of trouble. Keep your son low.
I guess, man. It's like fucking walk softly, carry a big stick. I don't know what else the
Yeah.
fuck she's doing.
So the only I want to talk about that real quick. So that's one of those things that I keep hearing people bring up is this Hunter Biden laptop and the only thing that they have is a hard drive of pictures of him where I guess he was taking pictures of his junk.
I mean, whatever. I mean, so Biden doesn't get to be president because Hunter,
takes dick
pictures
pics
of
on his own
dick.
laptop.
I just don't. I mean, like, because you got we. I'm not saying that I know that there are, but you gotta believe that Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. have got something out there. If their hard drives were to show up in some New Jersey or whatever,
It'd be Photoshop pictures of Marjorie Taylor Greene's face on like porno bodies or something like that.
yeah.
Like
I don't even want to get into all that.
I can't.
My
Even,
goodness.
Could you imagine what was on President Bush's disk drive back in the day?
They
Nothing.
didn't
I
have
don't know.
disk
I
drives.
don't know if
They
it-
didn't exist.
I don't
That
think he
wasn't
knew
a
how to
thing.
use a computer. Much less.
There wasn't. Yeah, that was one of those things I
He had
remember.
one of the big old floppies. Like
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
as a
Old
kid.
five and a
You guys heard
half.
of
or
Britannica
whatever.
Online? You find anything there?
Even if he was the first
LimeWire.
person, even if he was the first person to get the internet, I can't imagine.
Apparently, LimeWire is not allowed in the Oval Office. But I need Limp Bizkit's
They
break
they
stuff.
definitely tried to ban LimeWire like they're trying to do TikTok.
They're trying to ban TikTok. We should talk about that. Texas, Greg Abbott thinks he's going to ban fucking TikTok because it's a communist fucking platform, which is hilarious because we all know that Google and all the other people were like,
what are they?
They're taking our advertising money. What the fuck are we going to do?
That was actually a TikTok balloon that they shot down.
If you're living like in the digital world, there's like a reasonable expectation that you've lost a bit of privacy.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it goes. I mean, I'm not like Googling anything so sensitive that, I don't know. I mean, I guess like live right and you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, let's pull up their browser history real quick. Everybody pull out their browser history,
My
right?
browser history is actually not as bad as you would think.
Oh, you guys don't know about incognito mode?
Go ahead,
man.
Trent. Oh,
Smart man.
Say, call him out.
This is a smart man.
No, but honestly,
I got a tablet for that anyway.
I got a burner.
I can't.
The Vilardebo tablet.
Get Matt's goddamn tablet.
It's up in a repair shop.
Joke's on you. It's a fucking Kindle. I will flush it.
I ultimately think that the thing that the Republicans failed on was when they made such a big deal out of Hunter Biden's laptop, and then because it showed up, like it got basically handed over to Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, Rudy.
And had they given it to anyone that had any like cognitive power at all, I absolutely believe that it would have been a bigger deal. They would have gotten in there, they would have looked at emails, whatever. But that doesn't mean there's any. But so here's my thing. If there is a legitimate cause for concern and that Hunter Biden was involved in something that he should not have been, whether he was the son of the president or not, investigate it.
Yeah.
Do a legitimate investigation. Have the FBI, have the CIA, whomever it is that needs to investigate, have them investigate it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a team thing. Like Trump is a cult, and they think when you attack and tell him to follow the law, that we're attacking him as a person. Oh, he broke the law. I'm not a Biden hard-on. None of us here are just like, Biden's the best thing since sliced bread.
Right.
If he breaks the fucking law, go get him.
Yeah, but the other thing is, and if you feel like the necessity is there, you think that there's evidence, and you think that Biden had something to do with whatever it is you think, because the only
trying to tie him into like business dealings with the Ukraine.
But who cares? Like, but if it was a legitimate job,
That's the sort of Venn diagram they're trying to assemble.
But there's no evidence behind it yet.
I get it, but I mean they're like a dog on the bone with that.
Well, it's like Hillary's emails.
And it's a good dog whistle to keep people distracted.
It's like the voting thing.
Issues.
The extra votes and everything. It's just the
recount.
Base,
the base eats that shit up, which is all that really matters. I mean, as a guy who's run for office not once but twice, I can tell you that like issues-driven campaigns are all fine and dandy, but people typically, don't give two shits about the issues. They want the dirt. They want to know that their needs are going to be met on some level, and that you kind of check a box they like checked. And in this state, they make it really easy for people with that mentality, with that straight ticket voting.
Right.
And that's giving a lot of credit, because most of the time, just as they lay out the voting machines, are you Empire or are you Rebel Alliance? Just fucking pick your side.
Well, and that's that straight ticket voting.
Yeah.
We're down to 5 states now in the whole United States that still do it. South Carolina being one of them. Texas just got rid of it.
How do you feel about the rated voting?
I like the ranked choice voting. I think that would be like a logical way to kind of do things. I just don't know if South Carolina is ready for something like that.
No, I can't imagine that.
We still, I mean, again, I try to explain to people how behind the times we are here. And it's not just the infrastructure that dictates that.
You see that by traveling.
Yeah, I mean, but we're just so far behind the times here. And there needs to be like almost a natural evolution of things. And if you start introducing certain things in the state, they're just going to fail before you even get out the starting gate, because we're just not ready. I mean, I was shocked medical marijuana got the traction it did last year.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought, we would be the 49th state, maybe 50th, to like see medical or any sort of marijuana legalization.
Well, Cunningham was definitely a driving force for that.
Well,
in his campaign.
Well, and what's his name? Tom Wilson is a big, and he's a Republican, and he was a big pusher for that medical marijuana.
Well, I think anybody that believes in capitalism and the idea that, the United States, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, these are states where a major part of the agriculture was tobacco, and we don't grow tobacco here anymore. It's all grown over.
South Carolina didn't do a good job of transitioning to wine like a lot of these other states did with the tobacco farms.
I'll tell you what's funny. When I went to college at Wake Forest, when we went there, they had
talk your shit.
I was in a English.
He peaked in college.
I was in my first English class that we had when I got there, and they had a question out loud, and I can't remember what it was, and I answered it for the teacher, and then that was kind of the introduction, like, well, okay, where are you from, blah, blah, blah. I was like, South Carolina. The whole classroom, including the teacher, was like, aren't y'all last in education? Like, it just, like, ribbed me, and I'm like, go fuck yourselves. I just answered the question right.
And what year was that?
2007.
And I think we're still last, right?
Well,
we're one of the last ones,
47,
right?
48.
It hasn't never changed.
It is never.
That's
really
2007.
changed.
They're like, aren't you 55th? And they're like, well, there's not that many states. So like, we made room.
Do you get that? It's 2007 to 2023.
Yeah, but
we're still ranked one of the
issues that I really have with this whole idea about ranking states based on the education is I don't believe that South Carolina being 48 is remotely. It's not apropos of what the teachers are trying to do. It's not apropos of what the students are trying to teach the students. It is
the environment.
It's these standardized tests that they use to score. It's this idea that everyone can be tested the same
way.
This state still has like these really like solid remnants of Jim Crow. And a lot of it's done to hold back people of color and black people specifically.
Did y'all ever have in class at any point somebody try to push religion in that class, no matter what it was?
So like I went to Catholic school for most of my life, and my brief dabble into public education, obviously that never happened. But yeah, I mean, I was in religious schools for most of my...
You definitely
not
did.
with all those felonies. No, of course not.
but that was intentional. You were there. They're kind of like, okay, that's that. But like, you hear about Louisiana and their textbook thing where they're like, okay, if you're going to teach evolution, then you have to teach creationism.
Which is odd. I mean, it's like,
really odd.
One we have evidence for, and the other one is because this book says so.
Yeah.
And that's something that in Louisiana and Texas and stuff are big deal. I think even in Florida, it's something that's a big deal. Where it's literally they're throwing away good textbooks to be like, you got to teach Adam and Eve. And I'm just wondering if y'all had that experience here.
No.
Because I can't recall ever having.
For us being a Bible Belt, I really didn't get that in school.
Yeah, right. I didn't either. I never really had a teacher be like, yeah, germs are gross, but if you have Jesus.
So, and
the choir.
And the only
choir was always singing gospel. Yeah. So that's probably the closest thing.
But that's almost like history. You have to kind of, like, gospel has a level of.
So there is a comparative level between the education system pushing for there to be religion in school and the number of religious organizations that are available for the community outside of public school.
Well, you teach them in history with.
Well, no. So there is this idea that in states like South Carolina where you have more churches than you have.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're popping up all the time.
There's a church right across the street.
There is literally like you pull up to a corner, and if there's one of those loan stores, or you go in for a check loan, there's almost always a 15-seat church next to it. I mean, there are so many churches, and because there is the availability of religion everywhere in South Carolina, virtually, there isn't quite as much of a push to try and push that curriculum, this educational curriculum into the system, because it's already everywhere anyway. Yeah. So that's kind of why we don't see as much of that in South Carolina. But you go to a state like California, or you go to a state like even a red state like Utah, despite the fact that you hear Utah Mormon church is but it's another one of those. It's one of those states where there is this drive to make sure that religion is part of the curriculum, because you can walk around and not see it. So
that's ridiculous. Like
no, it's utterly bullshit. But it's still that's one of the driving.
But then when you go like, all right, theology, let's place it into a class, and you stick it into the history class, then they're like, what? Hold on, why are you putting it next to Zeus and all this other stuff? It's like, well,
I mean, now, okay, this might be bad, but
it's not bad.
For them to compare it to Zeus makes a lot more sense.
The Greeks were around for what?
I mean, you get what I'm saying?
Years? I mean,
so if you're going to teach that,
it needs to. That's what I'm saying.
It needs to be.
Yeah,
but I see what you're saying.
Don't bring it up in biology class. Here's the other option.
Exactly.
That's the smart way to do it.
This is not the foundation, but this is
what it turned out to be. Like you can teach it. Okay, it started like this, and
I think in Chapin we did learn that. Like you learn where Judaism, Muslims, Christianity, all that.
That's impressive because that is something that you will not find in most of the states in this country. Is a.
Oh, don't give them too much credit. They didn't talk about anybody else. They're like Harriet Tubman, the only black person ever did shit for black people.
Yeah. Don't have
George Washington Carver invented peanut.
Please don't give him
exactly. Yeah,
a peanut.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he didn't. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, let's talk about Black History more that got made last night. LeBron James.
I did want to bring that up. LeBron James,
the
is
king.
Now
is he number one?
Take it from another black man.
He is.
I know I got Jordan on my head, but I think he just jumped over Jordan technically.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the one that held the record.
He was so mad last night.
You think so?
Oh, you can see it.
No.
You can see it.
I think
they've always had a problem.
How many?
They've always had a problem.
Those two, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is top level.
How many
like,
3 points?
I have always respected.
How many 3-pointers?
But he's been
did
talking
Kareem
trash.
Abdul-Jabbar
He's talked trash about LeBron.
How many did he shoot?
How many 3 points
did he make?
I
have no idea.
Last night?
In his Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his career, how many?
I don't
3
know.
points?
I don't know.
We'd have to look
I
that
can
up.
look it up.
One? He only made one 3-pointer in his entire career.
So he was the NBA scoring leader.
Oh, that was before the 3-pointer was there.
No, it was available.
It was available?
Hey, Kareem was a drive-in guy. All right?
Yeah.
He was a drive-in guy.
Hook shot.
Yeah.
That's right. The hook shot,
Hook
too.
shot.
I do remember the hook. The sky hook. That's right.
LeBron knocking threes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He gets enough screens, too. That
Started playing professionally when he was 18.
Instantly, yeah. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went to UCLA, had his time in college.
One of the only people to actually live up to all and blow out all his expectations.
But Kareem played 150 less games than LeBron.
That's true. So here's my question then. How much longer does LeBron go?
Think about it like this.
He doesn't need to go much longer.
At 38, listen, at 38.
Oh, he'll go until he plays with the Suns.
Listen, at 38, yeah, that's right. But at 38, Jordan was on the Wizards retiring. Think about that.
Yeah.
And what LeBron did last night.
Yeah,
so
but Jordan was
still
celebrating his rings.
Yeah, like
see, I feel like the comparisons are like circular logic or argument.
Yeah.
But like LeBron's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to hate on LeBron, but I mean, I think Jordan is a better player in my mind. But
and how many
I don't think
teams
LeBron's not an awesome player.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jordan just said the Bulls are mine. Let's do this, and then he went to the Wizards when he came back.
Yeah.
And that was just a different NBA game back then.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
it was a different game.
Shit, he played baseball.
That was when they used to play with all
LeBron
5 players on the team.
Stick it out. Play
now
some
it's
football.
now it's just 1 or 2.
Man, LeBron could definitely go to the Chiefs and help him win.
Oh my!
So
this is the big money go retire.
I got another Black History.
It wouldn't be no
moment.
Kelsey.
No.
What you got?
We found out that
Beyonce?
Brandon Upson announced that he's going to run for chair of the South Carolina Democrat Party and give
That's
us
very
another
cool.
black man as chairman of the South Carolina Democrat
That's very
Party.
cool. Jamie Harrison, of course, the last one.
Yep. So he is seeking that chairmanship, and he's running with a slate of 2 other vice chairs.
Nice.
That's very exciting.
I feel like that group of folks better represents the population and gives us some faces and some folks who will kind of strive for a more unified goal for the party.
Should we be excited about being first in the nation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well it's going to help us this election, but I think when Biden wraps it up and the primary actually matters, the Democrat primary, that'll be huge for our state. But I don't imagine anybody, I mean, maybe Marianne Williamson or somebody will run against Biden in 2024.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
potentially.
I don't see it. You get me. I just don't see the Democrat primary being big in 2024.
I don't
in the
either.
State.
Yeah, it's not really that important with an incumbent.
2028, yes.
Yeah. The last thing I want to ask about is if you watched any of the State of the Union last night, we did get Biden's 2024 campaign slogan. It was sprinkled throughout the course of the entire thing, but it is.
When I grew up in Connecticut.
No, it's finish the job.
Finish the job. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think that's a good slogan? No?
Yeah. I mean, slogans are here or there for a guy. It's hard for me being a
and the name might kill him.
He'd have to.
If I'm like a rank and file, like everyday voter, I like that. like the Democrat Party has lost touch with blue collar voters.
Agreed.
And I feel like that'll do it.
Let's do let's get lit. Just be done with it.
That'll get them with the Zoomers, right?
I'll be honest. He does have the power of the pen, where he could potentially take and move marijuana off of the Schedule I narcotics list just with an executive order. And I feel like
I should take a break.
2024.
I feel like that is something that is in his pocket. That when it comes to re-election,
you think that's the reason why he's been waiting this whole time to drop it?
I do.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
I mean, that would be a slick move.
He did it with he did it with student debt. He did it with student debt. He waited.
Still like an ongoing.
Of course, and
my wife is. Applied for the student debt, and she's I
got approved
debt forgiveness. Like,
yeah.
You got approved?
Yeah.
I got
approved. It hadn't gone away yet.
Yeah, she got approved, but nothing's happened.
No, it's tanked my credit score, and I was like, Biden, and they're like, no, you still have to pay us. I was like, you're not even allowed to ask right now.
That's true.
I was like, get the fuck off. So I have to go through that.
Not until what is it? 60 days after a court decision's been made. I think that's how it works.
They're not allowed to ask. At least till this coming August is what I heard.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, no, it's either June. It's either June as long as it's June 30th if the court decision has been made and 60 days has expired.
Right.
If it happens after June 30th, then it's 60 days after that. But I honestly think that's gonna be held up in the courts for several.
So if it does happen, do you still see South Carolina people because Live PD was live and loaded last night, like all on Broad River, like with the cameras out.
Is Live PD? I didn't realize Live PD was back.
Yeah, they're shooting again.
Yeah, they're back.
Are they enforcing student loans?
Basically, because we're paying it to them. So
they were doing like a court-based series. So
if they come to my house, you're gonna see a naked man on television.
No, it wasn't court TV. It was like live court cam, but it was the same guy who did the Live PD. Yeah. It was the same host.
You're right.
I gotta be honest.
I was like, oh, this is great.
I'm scared about what they are eventually going to film one day, because eventually you know that if it's truly live, they're going to get a shooting, and they're going to film something that they don't want to film.
Oh, they filmed that guy that got in the wreck that hit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
Flipped the car with a kid in it.
That was my girl lived on that same street.
Yeah.
Barrett and I lost to him in softball. Everyone on Richland County softball.
They were on the roids.
Oh, they were all humongous.
Well, that's what we've learned this week.
Leon Lott does not bat.
No, he doesn't. No, he does.
I didn't.
I could have sworn I
played on a co-ed.
Bear was
he coached first. He coached first.
I played on a co-ed team where I was only allowed to bat for 3 innings.
Man. I wish somebody would bat for me.
They did.
I wish somebody
I'll
would
bat for you next time, Barry.
They had like home run rules. You couldn't hit more than X amount of home runs in the game.
Yeah,
that happens. If
I'm like, what the hell?
That's crazy.
I grew up playing baseball.
Well, you got in trouble if you walked and there was a girl behind you. Then the person
you get second,
pitching,
they get first. Yeah. So that all right. Well, that's what we've learned.
And you can walk when there's a girl behind you. Just don't swing at whatever they're throwing at you.
That's right, Matt. Thank you very much for joining us this week.
Yeah, excellent.
This was a blast, gentlemen. This was a blast. Thanks, Trent, for joining us on the second half.
I had to come back, man. Come back strong, baby. we got real serious when I came back, but I was ready for it. I'm glad we had this conversation on the second part.
Zach, thanks for being here.
Your head in the clouds.
Keep your hands in the clouds. Yeah, baby.
Trent, Casey style.
Yeah, man. I got to.
It's me, your son, Casey Kasem.
Thank you, Nick the Geek, engineer and producer, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. Check out details on how you can utilize his talent and production expertise at gotsoundstudio.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer. Follow him on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo, currently serving as the house DJ at the main course in Columbia, South Carolina. Make sure to go by and have a good time. You can contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram at TheRealDJLonzo. On Twitter at DJ Lonzo Top 5. You can also phone him 803-262-7982. If you enjoy the show, consider becoming a patron by visiting our website and clicking at the link at the top of the browser that will take you to our Patreon page. You can find details on how you become a supporter, or you can check out benefits there and just consider a donation so that we can continue to bring you this nonsense. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy you enjoying it. As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for All About Nothing US. On Twitter and Instagram at AAN_pod, or you can find links to all of our social media and available available podcast platforms by visiting theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you may call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is too far apart, you can fill that time by checking out some of our partner podcasts. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Carrie and Chrissy host Status Macabre. You can find details at statusmacabre.com. Ami Bland takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all of your podcast listening platforms. As well, you should check out our own DJ Lonzo's Top 5, hosted by Trent Clark, available on most of your podcast listening platforms.
All right, everybody, you all stay safe and
don't swing at the shit they're throwing at you.
There you go.
This The All About Nothing podcast is recorded live from the GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by Neek the Geek, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. To support the show, please visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media, merchandise, and more. Become a patron of the show by following the Patreon link at the top of our page. The All About Nothing podcast is an entertainment product of Barrett Gruber. Special thanks to Zach King, Trent Clark, Muff the producer, Neek the Geek, and you, our listeners. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you for listening.
The All About Nothing podcast is a part of the GOT Podcast Network and a product of Barrett Gruber Entertainment and Media.